Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the ACT. We have been solving ACT math problems out of this book here, the official ACT prep guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 319. Please turn to it. Page number 319, and today is our lesson number 39. The very first problem on the page, problem number 58. It has to deal with it deals with the concept of pendulum. We are told that T is the number of seconds it takes for one complete swing of the pendulum. L, we are told, is the length of the string, that is where the pendulum is hanging from. L is the length of the string expressed in feet. And if that is the case, then the formula that we are given here to measure the number of seconds it takes for a one complete swing is this formula right here. T, we are told, is equal to 2 times pi square root of L over 32. We are told that we have two pendulums. Pendulum 1, we are told takes 3 times the amount of time as does pendulum 2. The question is, what is the ratio of this? What's the ratio of their lengths? That's what we're going to find out. The ratio of the length of the two strings in the two pendulums if one pendulum takes 3 times as long as the other one for a one complete swing. That's all there is. So let's find out, shall we? So we're going to translate this thing into an equation. Let's call the amount of time it takes pendulum 1, let's call it T1, and we are told that T1 takes 3 times the amount of time that pendulum 2 takes. Pendulum 2 takes T2. T2 represents the amount of time it takes for pendulum 2 to complete one complete swing, and the first pendulum takes 3 times that amount. So the equation is that the amount of time that it takes pendulum 1 to complete one complete swing is 3 times the amount of time that the other guy takes. That's all it is. Now, all we have to do is substitute our formula here. Our formula is right here. Substitute the formulas here and just solve for this ratio, L1 over L2. Let's do that, shall we? It says 2 pi. So T1 is going to be equal to 2 pi times L1. You see this formula? L1. So if it's T1 here, it's going to be L1 here. Over 32 equals 3 times the other guy. So now if you're looking at T2, the second pendulum is going to be L2. That's all. So again, it's going to be 2 pi, 3 times 2 pi times L2 over 32. That's all. Now if you don't want this multiplication sign, you don't have to. I don't want you to freak out. It's the same thing. Right, there you go. That's it. We just have to simplify it. Let's divide. The very first thing we're going to do is we see 2 on this side of the equation. We see 2 on this side of the equation. We see pi on this side of the equation. We see pi on this side of the equation. Why don't we divide both sides of the equation by 2 pi? Let's divide this side of the equation by 2 pi. And let's divide this side of the equation 2 pi. So that we can cross out the 2 pi's. You see? Of course, 2 pi's are going to cancel out from the top and bottom. But I shouldn't have to do this in a baby way. We shouldn't have to do it in a very baby way. Let's do it in a grown-up way, shall we? Let's do it in a grown-up way without actually having to do it all out. 2 pi and 2 pi. So let's divide both sides of the equation by 2 pi. If we divide both sides of the equation by 2 pi, this 2 pi drops out and this 2 pi drops out. let's square the both sides of the equation. We're going to square this side of the equation, we're going to square this side of the equation. Okay, watch what happens. Let's do it in a different color so we can see it. You're going to take this side of the equation and you're going to square it. I don't know what happened to my red marker. It sort of completely died down. I don't know what the hell happened to it. Oh well. Let's take this side of the equation and square it, and let's take this side of the equation and square it. That's it. We're squaring both sides of the equation. Let's pick up from the top here. So here's what we have. I'm going to rewrite it here. So on this side we had square root of L1 over 32 equals to 3 times L2 over 32. This is where it stands. This is where we stand. You see? 3 times L2 over 32, square root of L2 over 32, and we're going to take the square of both sides. Square this quantity and square this quantity. And of course, the square of the square root of some quantity, the square root sign goes away and it's just L1 over 32, because taking the square of a number and taking the square root of it, they negate each other, of course. Obviously we know that. The square of the square root of 9 is just 9. They negate each other. So it's just L1 over 32. Here, this is where you have to pay attention. This is where we have to be careful. Here we have 3 and 3 is being squared. We have 3 and it is being squared. So it becomes 9. 9 times L2 over 32. Let's multiply both sides of the equation by 32 because we see 32 on the bottom here, we see 32 on the bottom here. Let's multiply both sides of the equation by 32. If we multiply both sides of the equation by 32, this 32 is going to drop out right here. And again, I'm not going to show you the baby step. We're just going to multiply both sides of the equation by 32 without showing the baby step. If we multiply both sides of the equation by 32, this 32 is going to drop out and we are done. That's it. Let's divide both sides of the equation by L2. So here we have L1 equals 9 times L2. L1 equals 9 times L2, and if we divide both sides of the equation by L2, L2 is going to drop out, and L1 over L2 we are told is 9, which is same as 9 over 1. And the question was, what's the ratio of, how do they phrase the question? If the length of the pendulum 2 is, the length of the pendulum 1 is how many times the length of the pendulum 2? Well, right here, 9 times. The ratio is, the ratio of L1 to L2 is 9 to 1. It's 9 times. The length of the pendulum 1 will have to be 9 times as much as the pendulum 2 in order for the ratio of the length of the time it takes for the complete swing to be 3 times as much, because of the fact that we have a square root here. So because of the square root, it's not 3 times as long. The pendulum does not need to be 3 times as long. 3 times as long, 3 times as long won't do the job. It has to be 9 times as long, because by the time it's 9 times, we take a square root, it becomes 3. Do you understand? So the answer is 9 to 1. The answer is 9 to 1. There is a problem on the previous page, page 318, that we have not done yet. I want to go back and finish that problem. Let's do it right here. It's a very simple, very straightforward problem on page 318, number 57. Page 318, number 57. We did not do it yesterday, so I'm going to do it here. It's very simple. We're given a square here, and inside the square we have a circle. We are told that we have a circle which is touching it obviously everywhere. And what do we know about this square? We are told that it is 6, 6, it is 0, 6, 0, 0, and it is 6, 0. As we can clearly see, if that's the case, the diameter of this circle is 6, which means that the radius is 3. Radius of this circle is 3 obviously, and the center of this circle is right here. The center of the circle is 3, 3. How do we find the equation of a circle? If we know the coordinates of the center and if we know the radius, it's very simple. The equation is going to be equation is going to be x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared, where the center is a, b, where a and b are the coordinates of the center. Coordinates of the center, a and b. So here we have 3 and 3. A and b are 3 and 3. So we just have to substitute here. X minus 3 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 3 squared, because the radius is 3. And that is going to be answer choice A. That is going to be answer choice A. There are only two answer choices there which end in a 9. We need to have a 9 at the end because it's a 3 squared. And those are answer choice A and C. A and C are the only answer choice that are possible here, because those are the only two that end in a 9. And C does not work because we do not do x plus 3. If the coordinates are A and B, we have to subtract. It's x minus 3 and y minus 3. The answer is A. That was it. I will see you tomorrow where we'll finish up the exam, okay? Bye now.